guys, we officially don't start for another 5 minutes, but off camera, me and Nicholas actually had a nice little conversation going about how American football is in the Olympics and the World Cup games and stuff like that. So we're going to do that a little bit, and at 8 o'clock we'll officially start and move on. So Nicholas, kind of go back to what you were saying. It was talking about the World Games. This was previous? What year was this when you were talking about?
I was talking about the World Championship in Austria in 2011, when we had 4 games in 1 week, and that was kind of tough for every player, because at every game or after every game you have bumps and bruises and stuff, and you have at least 1 week to fully recover for it. Yeah, you have practice in between, but a practice is usually not that much contact during during the World Championship or European Championships. It's going to be different because you have 4 games, you have 2 days practice in between. The next day you got the next game. Then we played the USA like 47-6. Then we played Mexico. We were more on a level with them, but they were kind of playing dirty. Yeah, they were playing dirty. Let's call it that way. They play dirty, but so those were games that were super tough on the players. So that's another reason, like we talked before.
Yeah, and the other points we were talking about was the logistic issues. You've got 40 to 50 guys on each roster. You got to get equipment, licenses, insurance, so on and so forth for every athlete. And you're looking at probably, if we're saying the Olympics, you're probably looking 16 teams. That'd probably be the number the Olympic Committee would go with, probably 16. That's a big headache. So I understand why American football is not an Olympic sport. Probably not quite ready to handle that type of situation, especially with the leading organization, the NFL, not being involved with IFAF or anything else yet. It's a lot to handle. So those of you just joined us, once again, we're not officially beginning until 8 a.m. or 1400 CET. We're finished a little conversation we were having off camera. So we will officially begin in about 2.5 minutes. So bear with us. Just give it time for everybody to join us and get settled in and enjoy this conversation we're about to have. So just want to let you know that Nicholas actually got all for it to come be with us. So we're so thankful he's able to do that for us. I really think that's going to be good for both us here at Podyum and him and the New Yorker Lions. So comment section, give Nicholas a little thank you. He deserves it.
No problem, man. I'm trying to make it I gotta go back to work after this, so I just make some free time for this, and I'm going back later.
Got you a little pre-show question. Get you warmed up.
All right. How's your body feeling after the game? My body's feeling pretty well right now. Of course, you're a little sore after a game, especially after a game like we had against Frankfurt, where it's about everything. You play about the crown of Europe. Everybody's going hard at it, but I feel kind of good right now. Like I said, just a little bumps and bruises, but that's what you have every time after a game. So I'm gonna be good for Sunday.
So, all right, we'll get about ready to begin. Let's see. All right, close enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us here live at the Podyum. And today's show is supported by Living Proof. They leave us a little message and say, the game of football is hard. Be steadfast in your dedication for success. Be living proof. You can follow them on Instagram at the link shown here. livingproof_training. Give them a shout out. So, joining us here today, Niklas Roemer, wide receiver, New Yorker Lions, Big 6 Euro Bowl champions. How you doing today, man?
Hey, man, what's up? I'm doing great. Looking forward to the having me.
Hey, we're glad to have you, man. You have been the tear this season, the top league in Germany, probably the number 3 league in the world behind the NFL and CFL. You have been tearing it up, man. Just want to say that. It's exciting to watch you play, exciting to watch your team play, and the things y'all are able to do. So congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Niklas, just get right on it. As we were talking before, you began your career in football in 2005. Can you kind of describe for everybody what led you to joining an American football team from other adventures you were doing at the time?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up being the son of a professional soccer player, and of course, in Germany, when you grow up in Germany, you have to play soccer. So I played soccer for a long time, then switched to basketball eventually, and one of my teammates was also one of my schoolmates, and he said, "Why don't you try out football? I'm playing football. Come over. It's gonna be fun." And I was hesitant in the beginning, but eventually I tried it and I stick to it. So I'm glad I did it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here talking to you today.
All right, we're glad to have you, man. Now that very first season in 2005, which program did you join?
I was at the youth program of the Noise Frogs. Noise is the town where I was living, and it was a small program. I think the seniors program played in the last league of Germany. So I started there, and afterwards, when I was done playing youth football, I was contacted by the head coach of the Cologne Falcons from the GFL. Asking me, "Hey, why don't you want to come and join our team and join the GFL?" And of course, that was the right step to do. I was thinking, what higher level could I possibly be playing on right now, except for college football, which I had no context to at that point. So I did that move and went to Cologne.
Now, before we moved to Cologne, what was your experience that first year? As you're playing that first game, what was your thought process? I know a lot of kids are scared, or there's a new adrenaline level they've never reached before. Can you describe how that first game felt, and then how that rest of the season felt as you got used to it?
Yeah. To be honest, I don't have that much or that many memories to that first game. When I'm thinking about it, I felt kind of like you said, I felt kind of scared because it's the first game of football you ever play in full contact. We were playing the reigning champion for the past 3 years. In my first game, I missed camp because I had some other stuff to do with basketball. So I joined in with the football team. We lost bad. So it was like 65 to 6 loss, something like that. So we got beat up really bad. So yeah, that was the feeling in the first game. Coming off that game, of course, you think, okay, it can't get any worse. So luckily it didn't. So you're catching more experience, you're getting more used to it. You feel like, okay, I don't have to be scared about this. Anything that happens, I'm gonna be protected. Even if something happens, I'm gonna be fine afterwards. So with that mindset it only got better over the course of the year.
I can relate to that first game because my first game ever was actually in middle school. We're playing a team called they play at the school, South Sumter Middle School, and it turned out that on this particular South Sumter Middle School team, there was I want to say 9 or 10 future Division One, like FBS, Florida State type guys, and 3 of them are now in the NFL. So that's the kind of team we were playing as young kids. We had 1 Division One guy. I was a Division Two guy, and probably 2 or 3 other guys that made it in college. And for that first game, we lost. I think it was like 60 something to 0. We didn't even cross the 50-yard line. I think we might have got to the 45. That was it, but we got destroyed. And that was when I lost the year. We ended up going 7-1 that year. So I understand how that first one comes out, and you're like, oh, this isn't good.
Yeah, it sounds my first game, and I think what we had was we had too much respect for them.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know what I mean. If you have like too much respect
Yeah.
for your opponent, you kind of get scared. You limit yourself to
Hmm.
what you're actually doing because you're thinking, oh, I can't do this. You start to like get frustrated a little. So nothing's gonna work.
Yeah, it's almost like you force yourself to serve an inferior role. Like you know that they're the superior program, and so you just automatically slot yourself in that second spot. So I understand. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Uh, but it couldn't be any worse for me. My first soccer game ever, I was playing goalie, and I was squatting down playing in the dirt, and I let a goal go through my legs while I'm squatting. So,
Uh,
so
yeah, that's the worst that can happen to a goalie when even in your first game,
yeah,
like right through your legs.
sorry. I was like 8 years old, and I was just like, I wasn't made for goalie. You-
Okay, so you quit being a goalie after that, and you moved on to being striker.
No, I was goalie for 4 years.
Oh,
I ended up making two All Star teams on it, so I must have did something right after that.
yeah, that's true.
But granted, this is the United States, so our All Star teams are probably.
As you're saying, it's easier to go on an all-star team in America.
I understand. Uh, that transition from that first program to Cologne, what was that? What was that like? Step up in competition. Uh, was that something that you're very excited for, or what? How did that feel going into that next step?
Really exciting because like it was a huge step coming from a second division youth program to
Hmm.
a first division senior program going to the GFL where you just turned 19. You never played at any level like this. You just come there. You're thinking, okay, this is I gotta prepare for this now. This is I can't just be chilling around. I gotta hit the gym. I gotta go running, put extra hours in,
Hmm.
because I was thinking all those linebackers that weigh like 20 kilos more than me are faster than me, stronger than me. So I gotta do something about it. And I remember when I first talked to my dad and one of his former friends who played soccer with him, was in November of 2007 when I already knew, okay, I was going to GFL, going to Cologne. I told him, yeah, this coach really, he told me like he really wants to play me. He really wants me to be on the field. And they were like, yeah, of course they say it. They want you there. Of course they're gonna tell you you're gonna play. That's just the way it is. That's the way it is in professional soccer. And every high league and every on every high level, they gonna to get you. They tell, hey, of course you're gonna play. But I was taking this as kind of like extra fuel. It's like, no, he's not gonna say that because I'm gonna prove him that I'm gonna be on that field and I'm gonna be there because that was the highest level, like I said, to play on.
Hmm.
So I busted my tail off. I worked extra training sessions. I went to the office, just going through the theory of American football, which I had never done before. Somebody had to explain to me like what cover two, cover one, cover three, how you can beat this. That was all new to me at that point. So I put in the extra hours, and finally I went in and were able to start even in my rookie season in Cologne.
It's that's a huge jump. It was actually similar for me. In high school, I had four head coaches in 4 years, so you never truly develop that connection to where you can really learn from somebody and grow that way. So when I got to Vard, granted running a triple option, so it's not necessarily the same systems you were running there in Cologne, but learning the triangle box of the play side, or how to make that audible call if you see your overhang to the backside. If he's 2 by 1 and you see that, okay, I can actually audible over. So let's attack this way. So I understand it's like you stick your head underneath water and then somebody dumps ice on you and you have to stay there for at least 30 seconds. So
Yeah.
that kind of overwhelming feeling. So I get it. I get it. Cologne, what year was this you made that change?
Excuse me.
What year was it that you made the change from your first program to Cologne?
The year from 2007 to 2008.
Okay.
I had
So
my last youth season in 2007. So afterwards, I played the rest of the season. Usually ends in like July,
mhm,
and the senior season ends in September.
mhm.
I had the last couple, 2-3 months playing in the senior team of the Noise Frogs. And after that season, I transitioned to Cologne to be a
Okay.
part of the team for the 2008 season.
Okay. Okay. And then, so from Cologne, how are those? I think was it 2 seasons or 3 seasons you played there in Cologne? I think it was two.
I played 2 seasons there. In 2008, we had a lot of trouble going on. We had a lot of injuries. So the team wasn't where it's supposed to be. We had a lot of talent there, but we weren't necessarily going where we were supposed to be. So we finished last in the league. We were having a relegation game against the Cindia Cardinals that year, which we lost to. So we moved down to the second league. I
Mhm,
played one more year with Cologne.
mhm,
That was the 2009 season. We finished second, so we barely missed the opportunity to go back up to the relegation games, to go back to GFL.
mhm,
And in that following off season, a lot of trouble was going on inside of the team, inside the whole organization.
mhm.
Where a lot of people were like, I don't know if this is the right move to stay here, because there was a lot of, like I said, like a lot of trouble going on. So I decided to transition to Düsseldorf Panther. I know if you haven't have heard of him, and you
Mhm.
interviewed Martin Hanselmann
Yep.
before. He was my coach. He was my coach at Düsseldorf from 2010 till 2011. I played with him there.
I love that. I love that guy. I haven't had the chance to meet him in person, but I love the guy already. So Martin Hanselman, Coach Hanselman, if you're watching, you got two guys that truly respect you.
Yeah, he's a great coach. He knows what he's doing. He got a lot of football IQ, so
Mhm,
he knows how to run a team.
mhm.
So to have a team under control, and that's what you need as that coach.
He's doing a good job down in Forsberg as well. I want to say they're 500, fourth place in their division right now, in their first year GFL 3. So they're hanging in there pretty tough. They had a slow start, but they got their American quarterback in to kind of help them get going, and now they're at 500 and fourth place. So he's doing good things down there with Forsberg.
Yeah, I haven't really followed the GFL 3, but I can imagine that what you're just pointing out. I think that's pretty believable. I think they're going to do a pretty good job there.
Yeah. Yeah, after I had some contact with Coach Hanselman about maybe going to Forsberg this year and help him out get going. Didn't work out for us to work out with, but ever since then I've been following him and his program and Coach Andy down there. So I've been able to keep in touch with that program, see how they're doing. It's Coach Hanselman. You got to.
Yeah, of course you have to.
Yeah. So the Dusseldorf years. Tell me a little bit more about those years. How was the performance of the team? What was your can't think of the one I actually want to say. What was your growth during those years? What made you a better athlete, better football player, better wide receiver?
Yeah. I played there from the 2010 season all the way through the 2012 season, so for 3 seasons. In 2010, we actually competed with the Cologne Falcons, the team that I just came up from, in the second division, GFL2.
Mm-hmm.
And in that year, under Coach Hanselmann, we made the relegation. We played against the Berlin Rebels that are coming down. They were actually going up. In the year, we finished second with the Cologne Falcons. They were first. They moved up to the first league.
Mm-hmm.
The next year, we were playing against them in the relegation with Düsseldorf.
Mm-hmm.
In the first game of the relegation, you always have 2 games. You have a game at their place, and you have a game at your place.
Mm-hmm.
We lost the game by 2 points. I was able to score a last-second touchdown to give us the 2-point advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And the second game at our home, we lost by 1. So we won the whole relegation by a difference of 1 point. So we moved up to the first division. That was really nerve-tingling. The whole thing was very tense.
I can understand. I'm nervous and tense about it now, and then the game's Been 5-6 years done.
Yeah,
Two
we're
games.
just thinking about it now. I'm getting some kind of little goosebumps here, thinking about the whole situation where we went through it.
Man, that's growing in the fire. That's sharpening the iron,
Yeah.
getting a lot better, hardening the feelings. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. So that was the 2012, or that was the 2010 season.
That was 2010 season, and we actually made it to the semifinals in the 2011 season under Coach Hanselman. In our first season back in the GFL, like the Düsseldorf Panther at that point were tied the record champion in Germany with the Braunschweig New York Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of history in Düsseldorf too. And we were able to go back to the semifinal, lost to Kiel, the Baltic Hurricanes, sadly. But it was a pretty awesome year. And in 2012, we had a new head coach. We had called James Jenkins, which was the head coach in Cologne in 2009. I played with. We were able to go up to the that year. Going back to the other question, you said what made me develop the most as a player in those years, or what helped me the most, is probably just being able to just create. I don't know if you heard him. Football, he's the man out there. He used to play running back for USC back in the day. Then he got to Düsseldorf and he just blew the whole league apart. 3 consecutive seasons with 40+ touchdowns, either running, catching. He beat every record here in Europe. And I was able to work with him for 3 consecutive years, and he helped me so much about technique, about understanding plays, understanding defenses, how to run your routes, learn how to run your route accordingly to the defense, how the defense is changing throughout the play, how to recognize all this stuff, putting extra work in, going to the gym, going on the track and field stuff. So he helped me the most with developing myself in that year.
And you had cut just a little bit. What was his name again?
Esdras Creighton.
Esdras Creighton. Okay. I mean, it's tremendous when you can get someone of that caliber, both on and off the field, to kind of take you under your wing. And not just you, I'm sure he did that with many other guys in your program. Those are the kind of imports that can really help the game grow. And as much as I love my import community, not all of us are right there to that level, and I wish all of us were. But I'm so thankful you got a guy like that to help guide you to where you are now.
Yeah, we're still in contact sometimes. He's still in Germany. He's living here. Unfortunately, not in Braunschweig. That would help the whole receiver squad even more. Like we're still in Braunschweig right now. We have a high level of quality receivers playing, but he would put another drop on it.
Listen. Braunschweig has got every chip right now that it could be found in Europe. We don't need to just give you another. Come on.
We take it though. We will take it.
Listen, we got the issue right now in the NBA about parity. Let's not make it any worse than GFL now. Come on now. You at least have some interesting games. Come on.
All right. Yeah. All right.
All right. So that transition. Who was next after Dusseldorf? I think I have an idea, but I want you to tell us who was the next team after Dusseldorf.
The next team after Düsseldorf was just a really short period. I went back to Cologne just for like 3 months, I guess, because there was again something going on with the organization in Cologne. There was not going the direction that we wanted to go as players. So I think it was in around April to go back to come back in contact with Braunschweig, because in November of 2012, Coach Tomlin from Braunschweig, he was just taking over this organization, and he called me. He's like, "Yo, this is Coach Tomlin. I was wondering if I could talk to you about playing for the Lions next year." I was like, "No, I straight off said no because I was getting started in my new job at that point. Just moved in my new apartment, starting university. I was like, I can't handle this at the same time. I can't go back and forth and travel to Braunschweig and back. It's going to be 3.5 to 4 hours one trip, and do that 2-3 times a week. I can't do this. So I said no. But coming along the year and starting March, I was feeling kind of, I'm not really happy in this job I was. So I was talking to a former that was playing in Braunschweig at this point. So, because he was in university, he was doing the same studies as I'm doing at that moment. I was asking, yeah, where did you work before? What are you doing? What were you doing? At what point in Düsseldorf? What's the company you were working for? He was like, yeah, I was working at this and that, but I know a place here in Braunschweig that is looking for people just like you that work there, that have a dual student university thing going on. And I was thinking, because the only reason to stay in Neuss or Düsseldorf was because of my job. I said, no, I can't do it because of my job. And when I'm looking for a new job, I can move.
Yeah.
So at that point, I was like, okay, I'm going to get back in touch with Coach Tomlin, the organization here in Braunschweig. And I was like, okay, we're going to make it work. I was able to get the job I was working in, or the new job I was working for the next years here in Braunschweig. And they're gonna put me here. So that's when I came to Braunschweig.
And since the time in Braunschweig, it's been a championship every year, right?
It's been at least one championship a year, yeah.
Y'all dominating the European landscape. Describe that feeling, knowing that you are the top team year in and year out. Is there a sense of pressure that normally isn't a part of the game with that kind of perception, or does it just make it more enjoyable?
I don't think it's the kind of pressure we get year in, year out. I think you'll get set your way to an undefeated season. Because then you have the pressure of, we want the undefeated season, we want to be undefeated. Can we last that long and not give up a win? But from the beginning of the year, or every beginning of the year, we have a new team, we have new guys coming in, we have old guys going out. So every year we're on the way to finding ourselves again. So I don't necessarily feel the pressure that, oh yeah, we are the Lions, we have the pressure, everybody expects us to win. Because we have a new team, we focus on ourselves, we focus on building the team together, and see where the journey will take us.
That's awesome to hear. I mean, obviously, seeing the 5-time straight champion, you see, okay, this team has won 5 straight championships. Whereas you're telling me that no, that's not exactly how it is. Each year that has been a championship season has actually been that one season championship. It's basically a new New York Lions team each year, year in, year out. That's awesome. That's all. Kind of sounds like the Alabama Crimson Tide. As much like I dislike them. Kind of sounds like that. How Nick Saban says, "Don't worry about the next day. Don't worry about interviews. Don't worry about seeing yourself. Just worry about you and worry about yourself day in, day out." And not a lot of teams understand that. If you can have that kind of self-awareness to know that you need to grow every day and not focus on everything outside, not read the news clippings, not so on and so forth, you can reach this kind of greatness like you have and like they have and like Golden State may have and some of the other great programs, the Boston Celtics that's on ESPN right now about their 8 straight championships back in the day. It takes that kind of awareness you're describing.
Yeah, of course, because I'm a strong believer in that too much outer opinions can drag you down. They can motivate you, of course, but they can put pressure on you. So when you're checking the media all the time, see what others think about you or what they think about the Lions, oh, they're going to do it again. That's not, no. Because that's going to set us on our own pressure because we think, oh, everybody else accepts us or accept us to expects us to perform that way. But we are just worried about ourselves. We're just worried about, okay, this is the beginning of the year. We're gonna get the plays in. We're gonna learn our plays. We're gonna learn to be a team with all the new guys in. Integrate everybody to be a part of the Alliance organization. And that's the thing that we're focused on the most.
So, ladies and gentlemen, those of you watching live and those of you that are going to watch later, you have just received one of the secrets to success in American football, and it came straight from this guy. I hope your guys are really paying attention to what this man just said, and if you can take what he is saying to heart, you have a chance to be just successful as a New Yorker Lion. Please take to heart what this man just said, just preached to you. Please do. Please do. Sorry to put you on the pedestal like that, but man, what you just said really is one of the key fundamentals of football. Just stay within yourself, grow within yourself, try and keep the outside influences out. That was just really one of the true keys to success, man. I'm glad to hear that. Let's take a quick moment to take a couple questions from a particular fan we've got. I want to do the same thing I did before and put on the screen. That way you can read the question out.
All right. Describe the Lions coaching staff, Coach Tomlin, Likens, etc. How important are they to Lions' success? I would say they are very important to the Lions. I know that everybody's always talking about, the Lions have the biggest budget, the most money in the league, which may be true. I don't know, because I don't do the budgets, but it's the same budget we had in the years 2009, 2010, 11, 12, 13. It's the same budget. And as we all know, in 2009, 10, 11, 12, the Lions weren't as good. They were struggling to make the playoffs, didn't make the playoffs. And what Coach Tomlin and Coach Likens were able to do was form a team again. They were able to bring the body language up again. Because they were watching the team in 2012 and 2011, and they were seeing a team that was looking like it was defeated at halftime, even if it wasn't, even if they were in the lead. They were looking like, they were displaying defeat. And that's a huge step that we took, and they made everything happen. They are very good at handling even difficult players. Because every team has a difficult player or one or two that don't like to be pushed in a certain direction, but they have to be, because football is a dictatorship. You do what the head coach says, but they do it in a good way. They do it in a nice way that you can understand why it is important to do what they say. And that's the main thing. They are perfect at forming the team spirit in a team.
And that's something that very few coaches have mastered in sport, in the States as well. Some guys get in this head coach position, and as you said, it's a dictatorship. You have full control over at least the football playing aspect of everything, and they kind of let that power go to their head a little bit. I know it's hard to say about someone when you've been a player, and you're talking about coaches, but some guys just take it too far. I mean, one of my coaches in high school, the ring, it was outlawed by then, but they're still using it as a punishment method for the team. And now, especially in 2017, we now know that that's one of the worst things you can do. That's concussion city. That is bad. But guys thought that was okay. That was one of the ways of instilling discipline and that understanding of who's in charge when you didn't really have to. You treat guys like how they want to be treated. You act almost as a servant leader. You get that same response in a dictator position as you would with a heavy hand.
Yeah, exactly. And coaches are there to coach you the way where they see the program to be. You're not, when you're gonna be coached as a mediocre team, you're gonna end up in the mid or lower area of the schedule. So,
you're gonna be the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right, got another fan question before we get into the end of this GFL season. You don't like this guy.
All right, Will Power asks, Also talk about Nate Morris playing wide receiver. He had more touchdowns than you last game. What's the deal? Well, first of all, Nate is a great guy. He's a great athlete. So he used to play DB, used to play running back in high school, but we made it the transition for him to play wide receiver, and turned out it was the best decision we could make this year. He's shifty. He got good hands, and at some points you can't cover him. If he's in his set and he knows what he's doing and he's going full speed at you, you can't cover. So that's the one of the reasons he had a lot of touchdowns last week. So you can't stop this guy.
Let me give you the true reason. This guy right here, Niklas, has to be double covered at all times. So of course, when you get somebody like Nate Morris with his shiftiness, one-on-one situations, he's gonna have more touchdowns. It's just how it works. Look at Julio Jones. Look at those guys. They get double, triple coverage. So that means the other guys are gonna get touchdowns. Come on, Will.
Come on, Will.
All right. So now that we got this Euro Bowl Big Six championship under your belt, what's next? What's the next step for the season?
The next step is to finish our 7-week war, like we call it in our team. 7-week war right now is the schedule we have. We play 6 of the biggest games right in a row, plus the Euro Bowl that was in between. So we had Dresden, we had the Euro Bowl. Now we're going against the Rebels. Then we have Kiel, and then we got the same thing over again. We play Dresden again, we play Berlin again, and we play Kiel again. So this is going to determine where we're going to end up in the season, and this is our main focus: play those 7 games overall, and find out where we're going to stack up.
Man, you thought the SEC teams had a hard schedule once they got in conference play. Whew. Man, I don't feel for you. I don't. You're a 5-time champion, so you deserve to have it like this. But it is murderer's row. That really is. What's obviously every team's going to say 6-0 with that kind of situation. Think outside of being a New York Carolina athlete, you're going to say 6-0. If you're being more pragmatic about the situation, what would you say a good record coming out of that would be?
Like being completely realistic, not being in the player's perspective from the New York Alliance. What will be our record when we finish the next 4 games?
Yes.
Finish the next 4 games?
Yeah, being realistic. What's your record going on this murderer's row? Obviously, you're going to say undefeated, but if you had to be realistic and give me a true number.
Yeah. I strongly believe we can go undefeated out of this 7-week war, like I said, but it's going to be really, really, really hard work. I think we have to give our best performance against Kiel and the next Dresden game. Of course, it's tough, but I think we have a good chance to stay undefeated in this or after these games and claim the North Championship.
All right, that will be the hardest question I asked you this interview. I had to at least give you one doozy. I had to give you one. You did a good job skirting around it, not messing up. Good job. Good job on that one.
Thanks. I'm done right now. I can't.
I got you. I had you on the ropes. I could have won it. I could have came in for the kill, but I didn't. You've been good. You've been a good interview. You've had a great season. So I took it easy on you.
Thanks.
And plus, Will's watching, and if I hurt somebody too much, I'm done. So Will, you're the reason why he's good. So obviously, the expectations at the end of the season is to be GFL champions. We got that. You got Murderers Row coming up. Let's get off the field a little bit. You were telling me a little bit about your work situation. You're the GM of a local fitness facility. Tell me how you got into that role.
Like I said, when I came to Braunschweig, one of our main sponsors, the Vienna Fitness company in Braunschweig, they belong to a big fitness gym group inside of Braunschweig, the Hygia group.
Hmm.
and I was talking to them, so I was able to keep on doing my bachelor's degree
Hmm.
in that field. I was working in this fitness gym group throughout my whole university studies, and afterwards I applied for a job inside of this group to be a studio manager in one of the gyms that was newly opened at that point. So I got the job. I made it like I guess I did a good job all the time, and I was asked if I wouldn't like to be the general manager for two gyms at that moment. So this is what I'm doing at the moment right now.
That's awesome, man. And this is and the job you're in now. Is that something you've always wanted to eventually reach, or is it kind of a pivot from something you were wanting to do elsewhere?
Well, I kind of got to it at one point. It was back in 2011, or let's say go a little further back, 2010. Um, I always wanted to do something with media, with filmmaking, because I was always into filmmaking. Because I loved seeing stuff evolve, what you single-handedly build, like
Hmm.
from scratch. So
Hmm.
I like always with filmmaking.
Hmm.
I couldn't get like an internship or anything. I couldn't get a job in this point. So I always did fitness. I was good at sports. So I had this sports fit,
Hmm.
and in 2012 I started this dual bachelor's degree.
Hmm.
Uh, so this kind of became my professional. Right now,
Hmm.
this is what I do. This is what I love. This is what I guess at the moment. So who knows what the future holds? Maybe sometime I'll open my own. What I'm doing.
Well, your internet connection's starting to die out on you a little bit. I know you got to get to work, so we'll start wrapping this thing up for you. Uh, one question and one question left. Here in the states, my favorite radio show is Dan Levitard's show, and every time at the end of he always has one random question that has nothing to do with the topics involved. Not one. So my one for you is if you could choose one thing to do in this world. Say it would be like skydiving or travel to Cambodia. Where you can do one thing that's so exciting to you. What would that be? Like, give me something good. Don't just say you want to go have tea in Paris or something. Give me something good. Give me that one activity you really want to
Team
do.
back. I really want to like see every corner of the world.
Hmm.
This is because I don't even know all the places we have in Germany. There are so many places in this town, even in Braunschweig, that I haven't even seen. In Lower Saxony, in Germany. Um, I know I will never see every corner of the world, but I would love to experience even half of it.
Yeah.
So this is something, getting to know different cultures, how people live, just seeing the nature around.
Mhm.
I love seeing just untouched human or humanly untouched nature.
Yeah.
This is the thing that I'm looking forward.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what he's really saying is he wants to go to Australia and fight kangaroos in the outback, fist on fist. So that's what he wants to do. That's the kind of
And
receiver.
that's exactly what I want to do. I've been to
That's,
Australia once already, but I haven't had the chance to fight the kangaroos, but so I have to go back.
oh, you got to, you got to. One of my
Yeah.
best mates, one of my best mates in the world, Reese Adder, played. He was a punter and kicker for me at Husson. Then transferred to Illinois State. He's supposed to be taking me to Australia. When he does, you come on with us. We'll all go fight some kangaroos together. How about that?
Do the Kangaroo Fight Club.
Kangaroo Fight Club in the Outback. I love it. I love it. Well, guys, that's the kind of receiver you got for the New Yorker Lions. The kind of man you got running those gyms. Niklas Roemer, guys, one of the best guys I've had a chance to interview. One of the best guys to get to know. Stay in touch with him in their season. It's gonna be big things as always. It's New Yorker Lions. We always expect great things out of them. Always expect great games, great fireworks, touchdowns to Nate Morris when this guy's getting covered. Will, just great things. Niklas, thank you for being with us. And I think that's it. Guys, have a good one. Be safe.
Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you.